Hello everyone. So first of all, before we start this video, I would like to thank all of you for being a part of the Hustle to Achieve family. We have just hit 1000 subscribers on YouTube and it would not have been possible without your support and love. Thank you for showing us all the love and support, watching our videos and subscribing to our YouTube channel. And I hope that your support takes us to our upcoming milestones as well. Now, let us start with today's video. So, Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, has recently lashed out at the BNP, the Bangladesh National Party, which is the opposition party in Bangladesh, for propagating the India Out campaign. So, this is not the first time that we have heard about this India Out campaign. Bangladesh is certainly not the first country to have witnessed this campaign. The Maldives actually was the first country to have started this India Out movement, and we're going to talk about that later in this video as well. So, the India Out campaign in Bangladesh basically revolves around boycotting Indian products from the Bangladeshi market, and this is specifically being targeted on social media platforms that are being run in Bangladesh. This campaign was started right after the elections that were held in Bangladesh in January 2024. So, the Bangladesh National Party has had an anti-India approach and a pro-Pakistan stance right from the very beginning, whereas the current ruling party in Bangladesh, the Awami League, has a pro-India approach. And this is exactly why Sheikh Hasina blasted at the opposition, specifically at BNP, for propagating the India Out campaign. She went on to say that if they truly support this India Out campaign, then they should burn their wives' Indian saris right in front of their office. Not only that, she even said that some members of the BNP, they go to India, purchase Indian saris, they come back and they sell it in Bangladesh. Now, this is what Sheikh Hasina has said. Here's what the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh said. He said that the BNP leaders eat food made with Indian onions, sari with Indian beef, and wives wear Indian saris when they go out, which is contradictory to their movement. So while on one hand the ruling party has a pro-India approach, they are against the India Out movement. On the other hand, we have the opposition, not just the BNP that we're talking about, but opposition forces as a whole. They are against the current ruling party in India, which is the BJP specifically. Now, why is this particular movement gaining so much traction in Bangladesh? Here's why. As I mentioned earlier, Bangladesh is not the first country to have witnessed the India Out movement. In fact, the Maldives is the first country to have witnessed this movement. Not only that, but the India Out campaign in the Maldives was basically propagated by the current ruling party, which is led by the current president, Mohammad Muizzu, and the party is People's National Congress. Now, Mohammad Muizzu actually won the presidential elections in the Maldives on the basis of his India Out campaign. Now, that particular campaign in the Maldives was run to remove Indian troops from the Maldives, whereas this specific campaign that is being run in Bangladesh particularly aims at removing all Indian products from Bangladesh. It is basically aimed at boycotting Indian products from the country. Taking a page out of Mohammad Muizzu's book, out of the book of the People's National Congress in the Maldives, the Bangladesh National Party believes that they could also use the same playbook that the Maldives used. They could stir up the sentiments of Bangladeshi people and come to power in the coming years. Now, although this movement started after the elections in Bangladesh, but the anti-India sentiments have been present for a while. And these elements are present everywhere on earth. Whichever country that you look at, there are going to be some elements in society that are going to spread hate and violence towards one another. But when we talk about the majority of the people, they do not want to get involved in hate and violence. They do not think ill of other people. But there are certainly some elements that are present in society that would try to stir up the emotions of people, try to manipulate people to get the worst out of them. But coming back to the topic, this time around, when we talk about this particular campaign was launched because the opposition has allegedly said that India has been involved in rigging the Bangladeshi elections. Now, India, the current Indian government, specifically the Modi government, is actually allies with the Sheikh Hasina government. And the opposition claims that the current ruling Indian government would do anything in their power to keep the Awami League in power in Bangladesh and be friends with Sheikh Hasina. Because once Sheikh Hasina is removed, then the opposition would come to power and that would ruin India's friendship with Bangladesh. Now, all of this has been alleged by the opposition. And in the last 10 years, this relationship between India and Bangladesh has only grown. Now, the opposition has even said that India has done everything possible to keep the Awami League in power since 2014. However, India, right from the first day itself, India has said that India is not involved in the personal and internal affairs of Bangladesh, and that elections in Bangladesh, they are a personal and internal matter of the country itself, and that India does not have a say in the internal politics of Bangladesh. And if we're talking about these allegations, if we're talking about these allegations of a country's involvement in Bangladesh elections, then we should also mention the involvement of the US. The United States actually wanted a regime change in Bangladesh, and it is also important to note that the US has a history of successful regime changes across the world, not just in one country, not just in one continent, but around the world. And I've talked about that in this video here. If you are interested in watching this video, please click the link below to watch this video. Now, another question here that comes up is that will this India Out campaign affect the bilateral trade between India and Bangladesh? Will this movement have any effect on the economic ties and the economies of the two countries? Let us understand. Let us first look at the numbers. Bangladesh is India's biggest trade partner in South Asia, and India is Bangladesh's second biggest trade partner in Asia. India is also Bangladesh's largest export destination, with Bangladesh's exports to India amounting to about $2 billion in the financial year 22-23. On the other hand, Indian exports to Bangladesh actually amounted to over $12 billion in the financial year 2023. Indian exports to Bangladesh, they actually account to 17% of Bangladesh's imports, which is a significant part of Bangladesh's imports. On the other hand, when you look at this number is actually 3.5% to Indian exports. So Indian exports to Bangladesh only account for 3.5% of the total exports that India is involved in. And these exports to Bangladesh, they're essential and they're significant for Bangladesh's economy, for Bangladeshi people. These exports involve rice, onion, and cotton, to name a few essential goods. And there are many other essential goods that India exports to Bangladesh at affordable rates. So, an India Out campaign specifically targeting boycotting of Indian products in Bangladesh could be more severe for Bangladesh than it could be for India. Another question here is that could the India Out campaign actually be successful? The answer is no. And here's why. The current regime in Bangladesh, the current government in Bangladesh is actually allies with the Indian government. Miss Sheikh Hasina has a pro-India policy, has a pro-India stance, and it does not look like this is going to change, at least in the coming years. The two countries, not only have they had a bilateral trade, but they have also had several other agreements that have been put in place. They've had rail and transport agreements that are aimed at increasing the connectivity and mobility between the two countries. Miss Sheikh Hasina was recently re-elected in Bangladesh in January 2024. And this means that at least for the next half a decade, she is going to be in power, and the relationship between India and Bangladesh would not be hampered. Now, this in particular is on the policy as well as the political fronts. So India and Bangladesh, they would not have a problem on these two fronts. However, in the meanwhile, the opposition could certainly stir up the emotions of the public and could still gain traction from the India Out movement or the India Out campaign. And while the India Out campaign in Bangladesh is that works at least digitally, who is actually going to benefit from the India Out campaign? And the answer is China. Now, China applied a similar strategy in Maldives, and that actually worked. So as the new political party came to power in the Maldives, the India Out movement actually became successful. And as soon as it became successful, China was quick to grab this opportunity and actually made a military agreement with the Maldives to make sure that India's influence in the Indian Ocean region declines. And I've talked about that in this video here. If you want to watch that video, please click the link in the description. And this campaign in Bangladesh, if it were to be successful, China would again come in. Now, currently, China's exports to Bangladesh, they account for 21%. So Bangladesh's largest importer is actually China, and right after that is India. And if this campaign were to be successful in Bangladesh, then China would gradually increase its trade with Bangladesh, further reducing India's presence in the Indian subcontinent. So while it is not likely for the India Out campaign to be successful in Bangladesh, the opposition in Bangladesh would certainly want that to happen. What do you think about the India Out campaign in Bangladesh? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video valuable, please share this video with your friends and family, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video and have a great day.